Hi everybody! Since the past few days there has been a lot of conversation about the WhatsApp privacy policy, and every single social media platform has been flooded with content from countless creators who have addressed this issue about the WhatsApp privacy policy. But while most of us are enraged about the fact that WhatsApp is now going to access all our data and that it is going to share it with Facebook, hardly any of us have any idea as to why exactly is this whole idea of data sharing very dangerous. Which is why in this episode today, I'm going to tell you not just about the WhatsApp privacy policy, but I'm also going to give you a deeper understanding of the whole concept of privacy itself. And then I'm also going to tell you how not just WhatsApp, but any social media application can practically misuse your data to such a dangerous level that it can practically cause riots in the country. You heard that right. I'm talking about social media application causing riots in the country. And last and most importantly, we're also going to talk about the alternatives, about what ordinary people like you and me can do to actually fix this problem. So if you think I make sense to you, please share this video with as many people as possible. So first, let's get some facts right. We all need to accept the fact that privacy in 21st century India is practically a myth. I repeat, privacy in 21st century India is practically a myth. Because even before this whole WhatsApp policy came up, Google, Facebook, Amazon and Instagram have already accessed our data and have used it to such a large extent that we can't even imagine. And this whole WhatsApp privacy policy is just another step in the same direction. But what we often fail to understand is the fact that how powerful these companies have become merely by accessing our data, and to what extent they can damage us and our country merely by using it to actually manipulate our thoughts. Now the question is, how the hell can these social media applications manipulate our thoughts to cause a national emergency? Well, to prove my case, let me remind you about something that happened in the first week of April 2020 in India. Now people, I don't know how many of you actually remember this, but then in the first week of April 2020, the story of the Tablighi Jamaat was all over the news. The Tablighi Jamaat members had attended their religious gathering in Delhi on 3rd of March, and once it ended, many people including 250 foreigners actually decided to stay on. And later it was understood that many of these people were actually infected by the COVID-19, and because these people transported themselves all across the country, there were reports which stated that there was a drastic increase in the number of COVID-19 cases in India because of the Tablighi members. Now when this happened, the Indian news channels were on fire. The anchors were shouting on top of their voice, and some anchors even indirectly threatened the Tablighi members on national television.
क्या कोरोना काल में जमात के लोग विलन साबित हुए हैं?
आप देश के विलन हैं आज की तारीख में, विलन नंबर 1।
जी हाँ, सीधा सा सवाल हम लोग पूछ रहे हैं। पीछे आप देख रहे हैं जमात की जो बदतमीज ब्रिगेड है, इसका इलाज कब होगा? और ये डॉक्टरी इलाज से तो समझ नहीं रहे हैं, तो आप समझ रहे हैं ना किस तरह का इलाज इनका करने की जरूरत है।
कि जब घी सीधी उंगली से नहीं निकलता तो उंगली टेढ़ी करनी पड़ती है।
And all of this was happening during a time when India was already at the brink of a national emergency. Now you cannot deny the fact that the nation was not in a sensitive state. You cannot deny the fact that during that time communal hate was not there, because it was clearly being reflected on social media, especially on Twitter. And while all of this was happening, something very strange popped up on TikTok. You know what happened, guys? Within a span of these 5 days, when the news of the Tablighis was trending, when communal hate was clearly being reflected on Twitter, out of nowhere, 30,000 TikTok videos were being circulated, which were conveying the message to the Indian Muslim community to not follow the lockdown guidelines. And I'm reading this out from the NDTV report, which says, in one such video, a young boy describes the pandemic as, and I quote, Allah's NRC. This coronavirus is nothing, it's Allah's NRC, it's Allah's wish who stays and who is summoned up, he argues. The 13-second video ends with fellow boys throwing their mask into the air with the song Allah Se Dar, that is Fear Allah, playing in the background. And here's where things get even more dark. These videos got viewed by more than 1 crore unique users. I repeat, these videos got viewed by more than 1 crore unique users. And we all know for a fact that if some content has to go viral on social media, it has to be liked by a lot of people, it has to be commented upon by a lot of people, and most importantly, it needs to be shared by a lot of people. And we all know that we will share a video only when we validate that video to be true. Which means what? TikTok was so accurately able to distribute this video to those people who were more likely to believe in it, and because these people shared the video, those videos went viral. And TikTok acted as a super accurate distribution channel to actually distribute this misleading and dangerous content. अब सवाल ये है, how the hell does TikTok understand who's going to believe in the content and who's not going to believe in that content? Well, that is because TikTok has your data. For example, if TikTok had your data that you are a 15-year-old Muslim boy, it will show you many of these 30,000 videos because it understands your psychological biases and the fact that you are more likely to believe in it even if the content was bullshit. Now, while on one side the kids were being manipulated because of these stupid pieces of content, on the other side, if you are a normal citizen and you just happen to watch one of these videos, the first thought that's going to come to your mind is that our Indian brothers and sisters are doing it, and you will tend to build a stereotype that Muslims are anti-national. And here's where the darkest fact of all comes into play. In a 22-page report which was submitted by the Delhi police to various intelligence agencies, it was stated that several of these videos appear to be shot in Pakistan and Middle East, but audio in Hindi has been superimposed, and also these videos had been edited using professional editing software. And in videos mein, the term NRC was also being very carefully used. Why? Because it was yet again a sensitive topic which led to a lot of outrage in India. And this is how, by using your data, any social media application can understand your psychological biases and then carefully distribute content such that it can manipulate your thoughts. And this is the reason why securing your data is very, very important. Now, in the context of WhatsApp, when the WhatsApp privacy policy says that it is going to use your data and it is going to share your data about your phone number, your status update, your age with Facebook to suggest you advertisements and content, what it is practically stating is that it is going to understand your psychological biases to suggest advertisements and to suggest you content. Now, this applies not just for WhatsApp, it applies for Facebook, it applies for Instagram, it applies for Google, it applies for Twitter, and every single social media application that has the power to collect your data. And by any chance, if this superpower is misused, that is when it can be used to sow the seeds of hate and manipulate the minds of millions and millions of people in ways that we cannot even imagine. And before you know it, you will have people fighting on the streets. Now let's talk about the solution. First of all, people, it is practically impossible that we stop using all of these applications at once. So we need to start decreasing our dependability on these applications, and that is when the alternatives come into play. Now, Elon Baba has already recommended the Signal app for messaging, so that is great. And secondly, I'm going to give you a few links in the description using which you can delete the data which is currently being possessed by these tech companies about you. And last and most importantly, the good news is that this WhatsApp privacy policy has started a very important conversation among the Indian community. And it is our job to keep educating people about it so that we can keep the conversation going, and we need to keep appealing to the government of India, because as much as it is important for us to take action on our data and what these tech companies decide to do with it, it is also important that the government of India steps in, because it is also a question of national security. And that is how I would like to conclude my case. If you think I made sense to you, please share this video with as many people as possible. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.